that you're going to need when you set up to do shaving, okay? You're gonna need a mannequin. In the beginning, you can use your mannequin that has numbers on it when you get to that part, which I think you guys all went over, right? Your mannequins have numbers on them?
No.
New people don't have mannequins on? So they haven't done 13 yet?
Not officially.
Okay. So, you can either use your mannequins that have your numbers on it, or once you are at Marshana and Misael's level, you shouldn't be having no numbers, because you should be knowing these by now, okay? But, you need to have your mannequin. You need a baggie that says clean, and in your clean baggie, you need to have at least 2 neck strips, and you need to have a clean razor with no blade. You need to have 2 containers, one for your trash and one for your soiled linens, okay? You need to have some paper towels or a roll of paper towels. When you're practicing, you'll just tear off some paper towels, but you'll need paper towels. You'll need disinfectant wipes. You'll need shaving cream. You'll need hand sanitizer. Antiseptic spray. Steam towels in a steam towel bag. They don't have to be hot, they just need to be wet, and they need to be rolled. You can do 2, though at your exam you'll have 3, but for practicing purposes you just need 2, okay? You need 3 dry separate towels. I can't do that with this one. Can you grab me another towel in that little brown bucket right there? You need 3 separate dry towels. Those little baby washcloths, you can't use those because they're not big enough. So you need to make sure you're using full-size towels when you're doing this practice. When you're just working on your shaving strokes, then you can use a little baby washcloths because you can put your shaving cream on there. But when you're doing the practice, you need full-length towels. That'll work. Thank you. Appreciate ya. Then you're gonna need a first aid kit, simulated or not. It needs to be your first aid kit. Like this one doesn't have anything in it because I'm just practicing. And I'm not using the first aid kit in this part. So it doesn't have to have all the stuff in it, but you need a first aid kit. You need I have a container that says contaminated, but you guys will use baggies like this. And the baggie says dirty, okay? And then you're gonna need your mannequin clamp, okay? Everybody got that? So when you load your kit, you wanna load your kit to where your hand sanitizer and your disinfectant wipes fall on top, because those are gonna be in your trash and soiled linens are easy to get, because these are gonna be the first things that you're gonna take out of your kit. So if it's at the very bottom and you can't get it out, then you're gonna run the risk of causing yourself problems, eating up too much time, trying to get these things out when they're the first things that need to come out of the container, okay? So when you practice, you're gonna be using those little bins over there, those drawers. That's what's gonna simulate this bin, okay? But technically, when you take your exam, it's gonna be in one big bin, and everything's gonna have to be closed up, okay? So for your purposes, I'm gonna do this without a lid, because you won't have a lid. Because you're just gonna have a bin. And this is just for practicing purposes, okay? It's a little bit different when you take the actual exam, just because you will have a lid. Okay, but for practicing shaving, this is how you set up, okay? When you do it, you're gonna start with everything on the ground. Should be nothing on your table, okay? You're going to need to function in one area, because when you take your actual exam, you won't have all this space. You're gonna be working in a space about like this. It may be a little bit longer, but it's gonna be shorter. So you don't have much room, so you have to get used to not working all over the table. You have to get used to working in this small space. Okay? Any questions? Okay. So when you first go into the room or when you first start practicing, you can either read to yourself or you can have one of your classmates read to you, and you all can do it together. You don't have to have one person reading and one person doing it. Somebody can read and then you all do it. Okay? And they do it as well. So it just depends on how you do it. You can do it that way, but you don't have to. Everybody can be working on it at the same time. Okay? Mike's gonna read for me.
Ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay. You'll prepare to perform shaving with a straight razor. You'll prepare the model's face by lathering and steaming. Do not remove the steam towel unit until instructed to do so by examiner. You'll be expected to follow all client protection, safety, infection control
Wait a
procedures.
minute, what section are you reading?
Shaving with a straight razor.
No, you gotta do the setup.
What
You're
page
missing
is
the
that?
page. I'm like, that don't sound right.
No, yeah. On page 8 then.
Yeah, I was like, something like that don't sound right. Here. Here's your actual page. But I think that's the whole thing right here. Yes, this is the whole thing.
Let's use this one. Okay.
And instead of 15, you're gonna have 5.
As far as minutes, is
Yep.
that what you mean? Okay. It says you will break down your work area and dispose of supplies used in the previous sections of this examination. You will prepare your work area for a new client. You will set up the universal supplies you will use for the remainder of the examination. You will also set up supplies for shaving with a straight razor section of the examination. You will prepare your client for a shave. You are expected to follow all client protection, safety, and infection control procedures. You will have 15 minutes to complete the section, 5 in this case, and you'll be informed when you have 8 minutes remaining. Do not demonstrate any procedures until the verbal instructions are given and you are instructed to begin. Step back to indicate you have finished. And instructions will be repeated and you may begin.
So instead of having 15 minutes, you're gonna have 5. The reason that you're gonna have 5 when you practice is because the reason they give you 15 minutes is because you're gonna be doing a full setup. But when you're practicing shaving until you get to over 1,000 hours, you're just gonna be practicing just the shaving portion. So give yourself 5 minutes. What I'm gonna do, you should be able to do in 5 minutes, okay? The reason I shortened down the time is because there's less that you have to do to set up when you're practicing than when you're doing the actual practical, okay? So you're gonna have 5 minutes, and then you're going to want to remind your group, or if you're practicing together, at 2 minutes that they have 2 minutes to remain. So 5 minutes, 2 minutes, okay? So then Mike or whoever's reading is gonna say you may begin. When they say you may begin, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your soiled linens and your trash containers out. You're gonna open them up and you're gonna place them where you can see them and the person who is watching or observing you can see them. So I'm gonna place my bins out in front. They don't have to be all the way up underneath the table, way down here. They can be right here. You just need to be able to get to them and not kick them around, okay? So first thing I'm gonna do is put out my trash in my soiled linens container. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my disinfectant wipes. I'm gonna open them. Whatever opens must close. So if I open up my wipes, multiple ones here. Then I'm going to close them back up. I'm gonna wipe my table down completely, the whole section that I'm using. And then I'm gonna set my disinfectant wipes down at the back of my table. My disinfectant wipe that I used is going to go in my trash, which is why I take these out first. Because otherwise, if I take them out after, I'm holding this in my hand while I'm trying to get other stuff out. And that means that my hands are dirty, okay? So I take them out, I take my little wipe, I put it in the trash. Then I'm gonna get my hand sanitizer. I'm gonna sanitize my hands all the way down to my wrist. Okay, I'm gonna sanitize all the way down to my wrist. I'm gonna set it to the side. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab one of my towels and I'm gonna lay my towel out on the table. That's the baby towel. Get the big towel. I'm gonna lay my towel out on the table. And then I'm gonna put my hand sanitizer on it. And now I'm gonna take everything else out of my kit and put it up on the table. The stuff that's gonna go in the back, my paper towels, my disinfectant wipes, and my first aid kit will go at the back of my table. I'll put that there so you can see. Everything else needs to go on the towel. So now I'm gonna take everything else out. And I'm gonna kick this out. Now that I have everything out, I'm gonna sanitize my hands all the way down to my wrist. And now I'm going to set my station up, okay? So I'm right-handed, so everything that I use the most, I put on the right. The stuff that I don't use as much, I keep it on the left. Now I'm gonna put my mannequin on its stand. I'm gonna loosen the fat lid of the table.
If that starts moving or coming off at any time while you're doing this, can you fix it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, you want to before it pops off the table. I already had my neck clamp where the head part was leaning back so that I don't have to do that. It's already ready for me to go, okay? So my neck clamp is hanging back. I'm gonna take my mannequin, put my mannequin on the stand. Once I put her head onto this stand, she is now a human. So whenever I am touching a human, I have to make sure that my hands are clean. So now I put my human down on the table. I'm gonna sanitize my hands all the way down to my wrist. I'm gonna make sure that all my labels are facing up so that they can see them, okay? Once everything is out and set up, now I'm going to cape and drape my mannequin because the instructions told me to prepare my client for the service. So now with shaving, my cape and drape is going to be towel, cape, towel, cape. Grab my cape. I knew there was something I was supposed to grab. I like to fold my towels in triangles so that I can tie them. So I'm going to put my first towel on. It doesn't matter if I start with the towel up on their neck, but before I'm done, I'm going to pull that towel down. So I'm going to crisscross, tie it.
Is this new? I don't remember we had to do that.
Yes.
And this too?
No, you've always had paper towels. You just had them torn into pieces.
In the bags, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know about in the bags, but paper towels have always been needed. Because you have to wipe your hands off after you put the
Yeah,
shaving.
but they always been in the bag. I'm saying, do we have that? Do we gotta do that test, or we gonna have like a roll?
And when you go to the test, you're going to have a roll.
Oh, okay.
You're going to put the cape around the mannequin's neck. The cape cannot touch the mannequin's neck in the front. So you can't have it up here on his neck like this. It has to be on top of the towel. So because I know this cape is not going to stay where I need it to stay, if I know this cape is too big and I can't get it to snap to where it's going to stay on, then I would take this and I'm going to tie it. Because the most important thing for me is that this doesn't fall off. And now I'm going to put my outside towel on. Still using my triangles. And now I'm going to push this down so that my strokes 5, 10, and 13 are exposed. So now I'm pulling the neck down. I'm going to sanitize my hands down to my wrist. I'm going to go into my clean implements baggie and I'm going to take out one neck strip. I'm going to close the baggie because what opens must close. So some of these baggies may not close, but you need to act like you're closing it. So even if it doesn't close, you need to act as if you're closing it. And then you're going to set it down. My neck strip is going to go either on the right side of my mannequin or on the left side of my mannequin, but not in front. So I'm right-handed, so I'm going to put my neck strip between the outside towel and the cape. Not the cape and the inside towel, or not the inside towel and the neck, but the outside towel and the cape. So I'm going to stick my neck strip there. I'm making sure it's out. I'm scanning my table to make sure I have everything I need and everything is out. I'm sanitizing my hands. Before I step back, I'm looking. Scanning, this look right. And then I'm going to step back. And that's how I'm letting the proctor know I'm done with this section. If I don't step back, the time keeps going. If I step back, I can't step back in. Because once I step back, I've said I'm done. So what I don't get done with when I step back, I have to do the next time I step in. Okay? Any questions about this part? Anybody need to look and see what the mannequin looks like? So you can make sure this is how she should look. He, she, it. Depends on how much hair you cut off. So no questions? Okay, Mike, go ahead.
Shaving with a straight razor, variable timing. You'll prepare to perform shaving with a straight razor. You'll prepare the model's face by lathering and steaming. Do not remove the steam towel until you're instructed to do so by the examiner. You'll be expected to follow all client protection, safety, and infection control procedures. You have 5 minutes to complete this section. You'll be informed when you have 2 minutes remaining. And do not demonstrate any procedures until verbal instructions are given. You are instructed to begin. Step back to indicate when you have finished. You may begin.
So then they're gonna say you may begin. So I'm gonna step in and I'm gonna sanitize my hands all the way down to my wrist. I'm going to grab my shaving cream. I'm gonna shake it because it's aerosol and it might go flying everywhere. I'm gonna put the shaving cream on the back side of my hand because then it leaves me the ability to use my fingers on both hands instead of me putting it on the inside of my hand. So I'll put the shaving cream on the back side of my hand. I can't let the tip of my shaving can scrape across my hand. Then I'm cross-contaminating my shaving cream. I have to put it on and not touch it to my skin, okay? So now that I've done that, put my shaving cream down, I can use my fingers. When I apply my shaving cream, I have to apply in a circular motion, okay? All the way around the face, even in the tight spots. So even in the areas where it may be tight and you feel like you can't get your fingers in there, then drop down to one, drop down to a pinky, drop down to something, but it still has to go in a circular motion. So I'm gonna get my shaving cream, I'm gonna use as many fingers as I can so I can get it on there. Don't forget to apply down here where 10 and 13 lie, 10, 5, and 13. Don't forget 6 and 3. Try to work clean, try not to have shaving cream all in the mannequin's ear, up in their nose. Try to work as clean as you can. Not like that, where I got shaving cream all up in there. This shaving cream was weird. Once I got my shaving cream on, I'm going to use my hands. I'm gonna take as much paper towels as I need to because I don't wanna have to go back to get more paper towels. So I have to clean my hands off completely. I'm gonna put that into the trash. And I'm gonna disinfect my hands using my hand sanitizer all the way down to my wrist. I'm gonna go into my steam towel bag. I'm gonna open my bag, I'm gonna take my towel out, and I'm gonna close my bag. I'm not gonna put this towel down on the table. I'm gonna hold on to it, lay my towel back down. I'm going to wring the excess water out, which feels like I got quite a bit.
My bad.
I'm gonna wring out the excess water.
Doesn't matter where you wring it out at.
It has to be over your soiled linens. I'm going to half open and I'm going to test it on my wrist. Okay? Once I've tested it on my wrist, I'm then going to wrap the mannequin's face. The way I like to wrap is I use the bent end of the towel. I place it underneath the mannequin's nose. I let one side go. I hold it with my hand. I do what I call crisscross applesauce. I go to the opposite end of the towel. I crisscross it across their face where it covers over one eye and the nose is out. I switch my hand, I go to the other side on the opposite end, crisscross it over the other eye so that only my nose is exposed and my nostrils are out. My lips are in, everything else is in except for the nose. Okay? Once I have their face wrapped, I'm going to apply pressure without popping their head off of the mannequin stand. I'm applying pressure. I'm not really pushing to make his head fall off, but I'm gonna look like it, right? Because they have to see that you're applying pressure. So I'm gonna apply my pressure, and then I'm gonna sanitize my hands. Pressure, all the way down to my wrist. I'm scanning, making sure face is in there, and then I'm gonna step back.
All candidates have indicated they have completed this section of the examination. Please do nothing until the next verbal instructions are given.
Any questions on this section? Right, sure. Okay.
You'll perform shaving with a straight razor. You'll be expected to follow all client protection, safety, infection control procedures. You will be instructed individually by the examiner when to remove the towel, re-lather, and begin the shave. This is an untimed section. Do not remove the steam towel or demonstrate any strokes until instructed individually by the examiner to do so. Instructions will be repeated. Can you repeat them again?
No, it should say, please remove your steam towel.
Correct, yeah. And then after that, please remove the steam towel, re-lather, and demonstrate the first 5 shaving strokes.
So I'm gonna step in, I'm gonna disinfect my hands down to my wrist. I'm going to remove my towel with one swoop and try to get as much shaving cream as I possibly can. Then I'm gonna do what's called wrapping. Wrapping means my thumb is exposed, the towel wraps around my fingers, leaving my thumb exposed, and then I'm gonna use that hand to get the remaining of the shaving cream off. I'm gonna take this towel, I'm gonna put it in my soiled linens, I'm gonna disinfect my hands down to my wrist, and I'm gonna relather. Doing the same method. This section is untimed, right?
That's right.
So you can take your time getting your shaving cream and stuff on, so you can make sure that you don't miss any of the strokes sections. Once I got my shaving cream on, making sure I got it in all the spots, clean my hands again. I'm gonna take this towel, I'm gonna put it in my trash. I'm gonna disinfect my hands all the way down to my wrist. I'm gonna reach into my clean implements baggie and I'm gonna take out my razor. I'm gonna close the baggie back up, label side down, and then I'm gonna open my razor properly. To open your razor properly, I suggest you use your dominant hand to hold the actual razor in the back of the razor. You're going to remove the handle away from the blade, slide your hand into position, then you can begin your shave, okay? So I'm holding the back side of the razor, I'm bringing the handle away, and then I'm sliding my hand into finger position, okay? Once I'm in finger position, I can go ahead and immediately start my shave. So everybody come watch me do these strokes. So I'm gonna do all 14. The proctor will tell you to do the first 5 shaving strokes, but we've had instances where the proctor has asked them to do the other strokes. So you need to know all 14 shaving strokes, not just 5, okay? Okay, so the way that the strokes go, your thumb placement, for one, is going to be here by your ear. You're going to pull up away from your face, from the mannequin's face, upward toward the scalp, and you're gonna go down in a freehand motion. So you're gonna go down, freehand. I like to wipe my blade after every stroke. You have to wipe your blade on the neck strip, not the towel, and you can't put your hand under it to do this. It has to stay on the towel. So you wipe your neck strip, then you wipe your thumb on the towel, because your thumb has to stay clean. So now I'm gonna do stroke 2, which is a backhand stroke. My thumb is gonna go here by the ear. I'm backhand because the back of my hand is facing the mannequin's neck. My angle is here. I'm gonna go in toward the mouth. I'm gonna wipe my thumb and then wipe my razor. 3 is a freehand stroke. I can either put my thumb on their nose or I can put it on 6 to stretch the skin. I'm gonna pull opposite, taking 3, wiping my thumb, wiping my blade. 4 is underneath my chin. This is a freehand stroke. I'm gonna get down, I'm gonna put my thumb here. My stroke is under here. I'm gonna wipe my thumb here. 5 is a reverse freehand. So I'm going to reverse my razor in freehand position. I'm gonna take my thumb and I'm gonna pull down on 5 and I'm gonna go up. Okay? I'm gonna wipe my blade, wipe my thumb. 6 is a backhand stroke. So I'm gonna go back to backhand position. I'm gonna put my thumb either on 3 or on their nose. I like 3. And I'm gonna go backhand on 6. Wipe my thumb, wipe my razor. 7 is freehand. So I'm either gonna go freehand down 7 this way, or I can go freehand down 7 this way. Okay? So I'm gonna go freehand, same thing like 1, down 7, I'm gonna wipe and wipe. 8 is also freehand, so I'm gonna put my thumb like I did on 2. My angle is the same, and I'm gonna go in toward the mouth. I'm gonna wipe, wipe. 9 is just like 4. My thumb is here, the stroke is under the chin. Not here, sliding down. So not here, sliding down, it's under the chin. So my thumb is gonna go here so I don't slide off of that. And then I'm gonna go right underneath the chin. I'm gonna wipe my thumb, wipe my blade. 10 is just like 5. I'm gonna go reverse freehand, pull down, go up. Wipe my blade, wipe my thumb. 11 is my chin stroke. So I can either go freehand on 11 or I can go backhand on 11. I like to go freehand because it's easier. So I put my thumb on the opposite side that I'm going because I'm going to stretch away. My blade is in front of my thumb. I mean, the back of my razor is what's in front of my thumb. And I'm going to go across 11. Wipe my thumb, wipe my blade. 12 is underneath the chin. My thumb is going to go on 11. I'm pulling up, right under the chin. 13 is just like 5 and 10. It's a reverse freehand. My blade is up. My thumb pulls down, going up. Wipe my blade, wipe my thumb. 14 is a double stroke. That means I hit 14 2 times. It is a reverse freehand. So my hand is facing in. My razor should be going up. My thumb goes on 11. I'm going to pull down and I go boop, 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 boop. Got it? I'm going to wipe my thumb, wipe my razor. When I'm done, I'm going to hold my razor and I'm going to close it just like I opened it. My hand stays still and the handle goes to the blade, not this. I don't want to see this. It has to stay still and the handle has to come to it. Okay, so don't cheat me at the top. You have to keep it still and the handle goes here. Once I'm done, I'm going to keep this in my hand and I'm going to step back. That lets them know I am done. Okay, any questions about that?
Are you having somebody watch you do, cause you take it with other people, right?
What do you mean, at the actual exam? Yeah.
So they're gonna be watching everybody at the
They
same.
make you do it one by one.
Oh.
So when you do shaving strokes, it's one at a time.
Dang, that's gonna take a.
But you don't have to do all 14 most of the time. Most of the time they'll just have you do the 5. But if they come and they say finish your shaving strokes, then that means you do all 14. Sometimes they've said do the next 5 strokes. So then you have to go 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it just depends on what the proctor tells you to do.
Okay.
Otherwise, you stand here and you wait for every other person to do what you just did. You just stand there.
But not the setup, right?
Huh?
What about
No, you just say just like this. No, everybody does the setup until you get to the strokes. The strokes is when they'll individually, and I don't think Mike read that, but it says right here, it says, it says, you will perform shaving with a straight razor. You will be expected to follow all client protection, safety, and infection control procedures. You will be instructed individually by the examiner when to remove the towel, re-lather, and begin the shave. This is an untimed section. Do not remove the steam towel or demonstrate any strokes until instructed individually by the examiner to do so. The instructions will be repeated, and then they'll come to you individually and say, please remove your steam towel, re-lather, and demonstrate your first 5 shaving strokes. Okay? Any questions? Okay, so then after you do your shaving strokes, it's gonna say, please do nothing until the next verbal instructions are given, or they'll say, all examiners have indicated they are ready to proceed. Do not demonstrate any additional shaving strokes. You will perform the finishing steps of the service. You will be expected to follow all client protection, safety, and infection control procedures. You will have 5 minutes to complete this section. You will be informed when you have 2 minutes remaining. Step back to indicate you have finished. The instructions will be repeated. Then they say you may begin. So I've just stepped back and I have my razor in my hand. So they will say, you may begin. I'm gonna step in and I'm gonna put my razor in my dirty implements baggie. I'm gonna close it back up. Then I'm gonna clean my hands. shaving cream on their face and I have to get that off, right? So then I'm gonna go to my steam towel bag. You will have another steam towel in here, so what opens still must close. We just practiced with two because no need to waste some time. I'm going to wring it again. Well, y'all probably burning some people's face up with this much water in here. I'm gonna open it up. I'm gonna test it on my wrist, and then I'm gonna re-wrap the same way I did the first time. The difference is this time I don't have to apply pressure. Once I get her wrapped, I can go ahead and remove the shaving cream. I'm gonna re-wrap. And I'm gonna get the remaining of the shaving cream off. Right? I'm gonna take this towel and I'm gonna take my neck strip. This towel and my neck strip. Wait a minute, what am I doing? Y'all should be, no. I'm gonna take this towel, I'm gonna throw it into my soiled linens. I'm gonna disinfect my hands. You out, deuces. I'm gonna reach in, I'm gonna get another clean neck strip. I'm gonna close it. I'm gonna wrap this neck strip around my fingers. I'm gonna take my antiseptic. I'm going to spray it or pour it onto my neck strip. If I do that, I cannot touch it with the spray. I cannot touch it with the nozzle if I pour. I have to pour it and let it drip, or I have to spray from a distance. Okay? I'm gonna spray it, and then I'm going to tap, 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 tap the whole part of where the shaving strokes were. Even if I didn't have to shave them, I'm still going to tap, tap, tap that whole area. Once I've done that, I'm gonna take the same hand that I have this dirty neck strip, and I'm gonna grab my other dirty neck strip, take them off together. Then I'm gonna take my outside towel off. I'm gonna throw this in my soiled linens, this in my trash, and I'm gonna disinfect my hands down to my wrist. And then I'm gonna step back. This indicates that I'm done. The reason you don't break everything down is because from this section is when you're going to go into blood spill. And so you'll go from this to then now you're gonna do your blood spill procedure, because that's another section of the exam. And then after blood spill, you will break all of this down and set up for chemical weighting.
It's not, well, okay, of course it can't be the same setup, but you need different stuff.
Yes. So the
all that
basics
stuff
would
is
stay
over
out,
here?
but then you're gonna have more bags. So when you take your practical exam, every section is gonna be separated into a bag. So that's why it's always good to get your stuff from Shy, because she pre-packages everything for you. All you bring is your mannequin, your razor, like little stuff like that. But otherwise, like all the rollers, all the pens, all that, she has it pre-packaged in containers, in baggies, in one big kit. And everything goes in there, okay? But this is how you would do your whole shaving practice, when you're practicing your shaving practical. Any questions about the last section? Any questions about everything we just did? Sure?
You're gonna be silent, you're not gonna be able to explain what you're doing, right?
You can't talk at all.
Alright.
Yeah, when you're in the exam, you can't talk at all. When you're practicing, yes, talk through it, right? I want you to talk through it when you're practicing, because you have to kind of tell yourself, okay, what's next? Okay, what's next? So when you start practicing, I always, like the first time I'm doing it, I like to tell myself, okay, so first thing I need to do is I'm gonna step in, clean my hands, sanitize all the way down to my wrist. Then the next thing I'm gonna do, like I talk myself all the way through it, so I can, the more I hear myself say it, the better I remember, because I'm an auditory learner. I have to hear it. So if I hear myself saying it over and over, then that's how I remember, right? I can watch you, but I have to talk it back. Like if I'm reading in my book, I have to read out loud so I can remember. Otherwise, if I'm just reading, everything is just running together. And so then when I go back, I'm like, did I read that part already? So I have to talk it to myself. So I do the same thing when I'm doing this. I talk it to myself so I can keep remembering what it is I'm doing. Okay? Any questions? You sure?
So is the whole thing like timed? Or?
Yeah. So you have 5 minutes for 3 sections. The only section that's not timed is the razor strokes.
So the chemical waving is too?
20 minutes.
Oh, 20 minutes. I'm about to say, how you gonna do that
The
in
whole
5
exam
minutes?
is timed. It's just different sections.
Okay.
But the whole exam is timed because you only have 4.5 hours to do the whole thing. So hair cutting is 40 minutes. Then you have, I think it's like 10 minutes to do blood spill. Then this section is a total of like 45
You
minutes.
cut your mannequin or you cut a person?
No, it's mannequin. They don't have you bring a lot of people in right now. They stopped doing that right before COVID. Or at COVID, they stopped bringing in.
So the mannequin that we take in there,
You're gonna take 3 mannequins with you. One's gonna be for hair cutting, and it'll be cut down shorter, but you have to have so much hair on it, cause you have to remove an inch of hair from the mannequin. So you'll go with the mannequin that has hair, but it'll be less. And then you'll take a mannequin that has longer hair, that you'll do your chemical waving, and then you'll have a mannequin that you do, the mannequin that you're doing your haircut on, most of the time you use that same mannequin to do your shave, but if not, then you'll take a separate mannequin to do your shaving on. But yes. But you'll have to take at least 2 mannequins to stay bored. One for hair cutting and one for chemical waving. But they can't have nothing on them.
like the numbers, alright.
Any other questions? Let me turn Mike's phone off. Okay, so my